We got the hits. We got the gist. This is Lagos' #1 lifestyle station, City 1051 FM.
Statutory in Nigeria, you have extant laws that are not enforced.
Yeah.
The case of the Nigerian child is doubly ironic. Doubly ironic because Nigeria signed to an international convention. That convention has been adopted by the Nigerian Parliament to be an extant local law, but most states, because Nigeria is a federating, because Nigeria is a federation, most states of the federation, especially most of the northern states, have refused to adapt the law to their own jurisdictions.
So we can rightly say the problem is not legislation, but the enforcement of the Child Right Act.
Like all laws in Nigeria.
Now, I say this to say something happened just across the road, just here. I mean, where Bella is, just across the road yesterday. A car knocked down 2 siblings from the same home and they died on the spot. They were hawking pawpaw. And so nobody could explain what the man, how distracted he was on this narrow road, how distracted he was on the narrow road. I mean, he hit the first one and tried to swerve to avoid the situation. He ran into the second one, and the second one, that said, died on the spot. The first one was, well, for a while was on the ground there before was finally rushed to the hospital, and at the end of the day, both of them were declared dead.
What happened to the guy? Was he arrested?
Yeah, he was arrested. He was arrested, but right now nobody can say so much about where he is and what's happening to him. But the point is, 2 kids yesterday who were, at the point of the incident, meant to be in school, were hawking pawpaw.
Ironically, in Lagos, that law has been adapted to Lagos. What those kids were doing technically yesterday was an act, a violation of law,
Yes.
by the guardian or parent.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like we said earlier on, it's the enforcement. It's the enforcement. In Lagos State, sending those kids, in fact, if kids were to be found on the streets without going to school, even if they're not hawking, during school hours, the guardian or the parent or guardians or parents should be liable. That's the law,
Yes.
but it's a totally different ball game.
Oh, I just thought to brought this to light this morning. I'm a pretty sad one, and I think guardians,
Unfortunately,
parents
God
should,
bless their souls.
you know, child labor, it is criminal, and parents, guardians should be made to face the wrath of the law. I think it is wrong for you to push out a minor onto the streets. I mean, exposing them to all kind of vices and danger, like what happened yesterday. 2 kids woke up in the morning not knowing it was going to be their end at about noon, because some parents somewhere feel that it's okay for you to send your word to the streets and have them hawk. The other day, still across the road, I was just observing a little girl. She was in a haste to cross the road. She had her wares on her head. You know, I like, okay, what exactly is going on? Why is she so much in a haste? My man, like, don't run into the road so a car will not knock you. She went across the road, the black gate, and she was hiding her ware under a table there. Then a few seconds, I saw the Lagos State Environmental truck. Yes, they were coming down. So she was running away from those people.
Them. That means they are trying to enforce some of those things. The truth is, have you heard of any parent or guardian punished for sending their child out to hawk?
No.
If there are no examples, people will not be bothered about it. We need to set examples, and since I've been born in this Nigeria, no single parent has been punished for
I think
sending
Lagos State
their
has
child
done.
out.
Lagos State has done a couple of prosecutions.
I knew sometimes
it's not public. I've not heard.
Sometimes
of one single
late last year there was a penalty of 90,000 if you were caught hawking, if you're caught buying
That's
from
street
hawkers.
trading generally.
Trading, yes.
Again,
Some of those
it wasn't
things
enforced.
have been taken down.
As Gbola said, it's enforcement. So the Lagos State was the first to domesticate the Child Rights Act. And taking it further, there's something called the family court. So there's judges who specialize in family issues. And of course, issues like domestic violence, which is one of them. Street hawking and what have you is actually supposed to fall under that category. Now what you find is that because parents are not able to meet the basic needs of their wards, those children and wards, parents and guardians are not able to meet the immediate needs of their wards and children, they send them out to contribute to the table. So when they go out to Huff Pop or Granola, those children are actually putting food on their own table and in their stomach. Yes, they're also part of the burden of the family.
Which is not supposed.
Well, that's the reality.
That is
and if I can trade tackles with Gbola about this morning on the social investment of the APC, so-called, and one of the incentives that was supposed to keep children in school was the homegrown school feeding program. Yeah. So if all the children know that if they go to school, they'll be able to have at least breakfast and lunch, there will be more incentive for them to go to school.
Because as much as I know, this is a topical issue. As much as I know,
the parents made the decision, not the children.
Well,
you wouldn't know even if the children wanted to go to school yesterday, but some parents or some guardian somewhere, and it's a culture of poverty. Let's be very honest. I'm sitting here today blowing grammar. I did what those kids did.
My father did too, so.
I did because I had to support my mother. She was the only person. And you know what? I would eagerly look. The day she told me not to walk anymore, I was crying because I had gotten fixated on it and I was making cool money from it.
Side books, that's why you're crying.
I was making cool money from it. So, but I cannot sit here now and not look beyond the next best thing to do is to make sure that don't father or don't give birth to children you cannot take care of.
And that is
we're gonna come to that exactly. That's it. Don't give birth to children.
Yes.
Don't abuse the words under you care, either as a parent or as a guardian. Maybe again, we need to highlight the amount of children. Nigeria has the most amount of kids out of school in the whole wide world as it is right now.
17 million.
And majority of that number are girls. The North Central and Northeast Central are a great part of this number. Better?
Yeah, and they were 11 years, they have 12 years, they're
Let us look at other topical issues this morning. Yesterday, it was revealed that the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, disclosed that the government was aiming at addressing one of the great challenges in the economic recovery and growth part of the federal government, stressing that the country's population had been identified as one of the great challenges confronting the successful implementation of the ERGP. She said the government was working with traditional rulers and other leaders across the country to come up with a workable policy. She said specifically, we have found out that to be able to address one of the great challenges that we identified in the ERGP, which is growth in our population, we need to engage these institutions. And we hope that with their support, we'll get to a point where we can come out with a policy that limits the number of children that a mother can have, because that is important for sustaining our growth. Now, this is a very interesting thing. While she says it is a challenge with regards to implementing the ERGP, first off, do you think that is the greatest problem population is affecting right now? Growing our economy.
Well, population is affecting our economy a lot, but I won't say it's the greatest problem right now. The greatest problem is we don't have a direction. Right now, we don't have an economic direction. Right. But in terms of the population, trying to manage the population, I found it weird that the consultants for this project were the traditional rulers.
Well, they're starting from there.
See, it's an economic plan. It's not yet a traditional plan. If you want to spread the word out later to the locals, you can get. Now, the news I heard earlier was that they were restricting how many kids a mother
could
have. And first I was like, isn't that kind of sexist? Like, if you limit it to 2, that means a man can marry 6 wives and have 12 kids. Meanwhile, a woman could only have 2.
Within the context of the dominant culture in Nigeria and religion, that would be the most practical thing to do.
It's because they brought traditional rulers to come and make laws rather than economists and...
which economics? They're basically grasping with the reality of the environment. The reality of the environment.
They are not ready.
The reality of the environment is that an average ill-educated northerner who is leveraging ignorantly on Islam will tell you he has the right to marry 4 wives. And you know what? As at this juncture, there's pretty little you can do about that.
No.
But who ends up, even in the Southwest, that I know very well, who ends up taking care of those children? Most in the Southwest, majority of women ultimately end up taking care of their women, of their children.
Yes, but let's make a law that is general. That doesn't make it feel like you are segregating some people or you are pushing them.
And so I think your point is, at the end of the day,
we should manage our population, but
Yes.
we should do it the right way. We should put laws, people who can.
Can we curb polygamy?
Course.
Can we curb polygamy?
China did this thing. China was a very unruly
I
country
suspected
before
someone was going to mention China.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
China
the reason
did
is
it.
China was able to achieve that successfully because China is a fairly structured environment. Nigeria is completely not
China
structured.
used to be
Number
very
one.
unstructured.
Number one.
When was that?
No, hold on.
When was China unstructured?
Number one. We don't have
Which
registers.
50s? You can't go and read the history of China again.
We don't have registers of births and deaths.
don't
You
have-
go to any local government, just tell them you want a birth certificate. They would even ask you what
Yeah.
day and date
Yeah,
you want.
yeah.
Do you want to put on
That's
it?
number one. Number two is that with this kind of law, we're going to encourage polyandry and polygamy. So, because a part of what she has said is that we want to regulate the number of children that mothers can
Mothers,
have,
yeah.
and therefore you have stylishly left fathers out of it.
I was just
So a
gonna say
man can
that,
impregnate
yes.
9
That's the
women
main
to have 9
problem I
children
have
in 9
with
months.
it. Yeah.
So it doesn't solve this. It doesn't solve the problem.
She's kowtowing to and I know that I'm not justifying it,
Yeah.
but she's basically kowtowing to the culture that produced her and gave her that position. Why you people don't? Sometimes you are not realistic when you are doing analysis. This person is the beneficiary of the superstructure that gave her even that position. So she must not be seen. She's serving a principal officer who is established conservative. So you want her to be?
Yeah, but I mean, she's also a product of a polygamous environment.
Okay.
So it's-
I didn't want to go there.
No,
I don't want to get too
I mean,
personal.
that's
I
the reality.
think they should
So
shelve the plan. This is the whole thing.
I
They
even
shelve the
doubt that
plan.
the federal government is already
It's
working
better
on
to
any
start from one
policy. They're
place.
probably just staring the hornet's nest. Like, let's see what the reaction of people will be.
Their own people,
Yes.
and they don't want to start.
Because what is interesting for me is when you look at other countries who have tried to do this, the reasons that they put forward are actually very cogent reasons.
Like
Workforce, for instance, there's more older people than younger people. And
in
these
your
are- these
case,
are
in
very-
your case,
these are very,
in your case,
very practical.
no. In your case, the reverse is the case, and
more young.
we have
But
a
unfortunately,
good number of young people.
You have ill-developed human capital because your education system is a mess. Your skills development system is in a mess. So you have the human element working and wreaking havoc on society, largely youths. But unfortunately, the ability for them to be useful to themselves and be useful to society, they've been denied. So you want to be increasing that?
Goes back to the
Come
problem
to
of
the
structure
microphone.
then.
This is the budget. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I think the ERGP basically, it's not just about.
The ERGP, don't mention the ERGP,
It's not
they just-
basically
that's
about,
the-
about
My
population
point
control.
is, exactly.
No, it's also about
Yeah, maybe it's a
economic
basic.
growth and then
Yeah.
investing in the people. I mean, it's an all-round development program
Now they're making it the-
initiative.
now they're making
So
it the
why are we
basis for
focusing
this?
on just population? Budget?
No. There are many things they've been trying,
Yeah.
they've been claiming to work on. They are just coming to population now. Although I still think the
Is this the way to work on it?
economic plan is a farce.
What
I'm
about
not-
restoring growth in the economy? What about
It's
investing in
good
the
on
people?
paper. No, it's good on
They
paper.
claim they are
I
doing
was
that
going
now.
to
Are
say
they not
that
doing
on
empower? They are
paper,
doing
On paper is fantastic.
What about building a competitive
Implementation
economy,
is
a
always
globally
the issue.
competitive economy? What about that?
Let's listen to Baba.
No,
Bajiri.
on paper, what, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, and then what about building a globally
really
competitive
need that
economy?
to really need-
No, see, the ERGP on paper is a very
It's
fantastic
fantastic.
document. It was put together
We
after
don't
we
see
found
the
ourselves
discipline to work it out.
in recession. Now, what I find with the problem is that it hasn't said anything about deepening the Nigerian economy. Nigerian economy is not deep. I'm listening to the Minister of Economic Planning and Budget yesterday. 8.7 trillion naira budget expenditure plan. The same indices were used: $60 per barrel oil production, 2.3
305 exchange rate. When everybody knows that you cannot get
that's not the
it.
reality. We're projecting to produce 2.3 billion barrels per day. Meanwhile, the crisis in the Middle East is possible. It's possible that with that crisis we can increase our capacity for production. Now, even the 2.3 million barrels per day, but we cannot appropriately account for it because the activities in the oil sector are very opaque. As NNPC,
Totally opaque. This
has
is the only
NNPC ever
country
given us an account of stewardship?
that is reliable.
There were similar
92
organizations, Petrobras of Brazil, Saudi Aramco, and everything. These are organizations that return huge returns to their states.
The car wash crisis in Brazil as we speak is as a result of the fact that people can track production to what eventually is sold and how the money is used. But in the case of Nigeria, this is the only country, oil-producing country in the world that does not have a very reliable account of what is mined.
And the president is Minister of Petroleum.
And apart from that, you even rub that in like politely. Apart from that, this is the only country where a shiploads of petroleum products disappear and you don't have accounts of it.
Lagos City topical issues. Keep your tweets coming. Hashtag topical issues at City1051. We will open up the phone lines in just a bit. But let's put on one or two more headlines quickly. Now, the Nigerian Labour Congress has asked Nigerians to stock up on food as it will soon shut down the entire country. The NLC said this in a communique issued at the end of an emergency meeting of its National Executive Council in Abuja on Tuesday. Now, in the communique signed by the President of the NLC, Ayuba Waba, and his General Secretary, Dr. Peter Ozo Essen, the union directed all affiliate unions, state councils, civil society allies, the informal sector, and other friends of workers of lovers of democracy to commence immediate mobilization of their members. Now, the NLC lambasted the government for its no work, no pay policy, adding that what should have been implemented was no pay, no work. The thoughts on this, gentlemen? Najib, let's start with you.
We've been talking about this strike for a while now. When government said, when government mentioned the no work, no pay after their disagreement, I knew a strike was coming and they were trying to prevent it. Well, if NLC wants to go on strike, they should go on strike. It's what they've worked for. They deserve, like we were saying the other day, there are countries people earn up about 29,000-30,000 a day, about minimum wage. You wash dishes or something and you get about 30K. You know, we need government to sit down and discuss. These are the things they should be budgeting for in the 2019 budget, and they are just telling us 8.7 trillion. We've not read through it yet, but these are the provisions they should make. I think they have the right to go on strike, to demand what is theirs, but let's see how the government reacts. I hope something comes out.
But they have the right to go on strike.
Oh yes, in a democracy,
shut down. I mean, November 6th.
In a democracy, they have the right. Having a right is sacrosanct. This thing that one cannot. You understand? Even if you don't like how that right is used, constitution. But having said that, I want to believe that we are failing Nigeria, especially those of us in leadership. And I'm not pointing accusing finger alone now at those who are in public leadership, even those of us, private sector. Look, in our market, this is one of the most unproductive markets on the face of the earth. Nigeria is about 3 times the size of South Africa. Our GDP is barely above South Africa's. It tells me that for every 3 Nigerian workers, for what 3 Nigerian workers produce, 1 South African worker averagely produces that. Something is wrong.
All right. Now, I'd like to take one last headline before we go to the phone lines. We are so pressed for time. Maybe even a lighter note. It's been reported that the INEC will today announce presidential and National Assembly candidates of political parties that will participate in the elections next year. This development will likely lay to rest controversies in some parties or aggravate the crisis that trails the recently concluded primaries of the parties. Now, it's been reported again that despite the primary election that was conducted, many parties, including the APC and the PDP, have refused to make serious pronouncements on their candidates in many constituencies because of vested interests. It was alleged that though some of the aspirants knew they won during the primaries, their names were allegedly changed with pencils and biros on the way to INEC headquarters in Abuja, meaning they will most likely see the reality today. The timetable of the schedule of activities will be released by INEC, or rather that was released by INEC earlier this year, indicates that the publication of personal particulars of candidates for the presidential and National Assembly elections will be made today. What expectations do we have?
I want to start by tackling Bella. She said on a lighter note. Is this
It's
a light issue?
It's not a light
issue. We're going to talk about entertainment.
You can't blame me. You can't be handing your stepdaughter in public like this. This guy will rebel you.
Pencils and biros.
And that makes it a lighter note. That's
quite
most
comical. Yeah, that's where you're coming from. That's it.
So that is the light note.
But
it's not the issue.
Is she not right? Have we not gone farcical with the quality of governance that we produce with the system as worked as this?
Well, that's sarcasm, not light note.
But have we not gone farcical entirely? So I'm sitting there thinking, in fact, she ought to have said a lighter no.
Well, for me, on this issue, I think that Oshomole is in his last days. A name has already sprung up as to his likely successor. And then I backtrack to think about John Oyegun, who just was smiling where he is now. When everybody said he didn't know how to do it, now they've gotten who knows how to do it, and in how many months the party is already sinking.
Did I not say it here, Benny?
Yeah.
He wasn't going to last.
Yeah.
The people who said it was the best thing to happen to the APC after Jollof Rice or after 2015 victory, are the first person who have drawn out the daggers. And I mentioned Okorocha, I mentioned Yari, I mentioned Amusu, even the DG of Vaughan. Everybody who has lost a ticket or whose preferred candidate has not emerged is a daggers drawn with Shomole, and I don't sympathize with him.
Lagos will come to
I
you.
do sympathize. Ironically, I do sympathize with him. You know why I sympathize with him? Because he likely inherited a party that wasn't working anyway. In trying to make it work, he overpumped energy.
Let's go to the phone lines. Lagos, let's hear from you. Join the conversation on 0700 1051 1051 and 0909 916 4403. Topical issues. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Are you there?
It's topical issues on CT 1051 FM. Good morning.
Good morning. 0909 916 4403 0700 1051 1051. Topical issues. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
A government that preaches integrity, Gbola and the crew, does the principal need to be the Minister of Petroleum? If he is, what level of respect do Nigeria see?
Worse still, is chief of staff. His chief of staff is a member of the board of the NNPC.
Topical issues. Good morning. What's your name and where you calling from? Good morning, Solomon. Always have a smile in your voice. I mean, it's not all gloom and doom, Solomon.
He's a very lighter note person. He's always on a lighter note.
No, he's not.
What's my food for naming ceremony meeting, Joe? Call me a talk.
All right, quickly, you have like 45 seconds to go.
Gbola, one of the papers today, Minister of Information, said he did not say that.
Of course, he didn't say that.
He didn't say that. He couldn't have said that.
Gbola, I think it's the right time for some of these people who spread false information and fake news. I think it's the right time that government should do something about it. Thank you.
Be careful, Solomon, it could affect you.
And the person who is even going to fight the fake news will have to start from there.
Najib, God will forgive you.
Topical issues.
I'm
Good
doing the
morning.
sign of the cross on you. You need this, Najib.
What is your name and where you calling us from? Please.
Brother there.
Good morning.
I want to say that I badly strike the way that is on the way. And as a matter of fact, now, let me say, we have not seen in this government that wants to improve the economy at all, even in the mix and one of it. Let me say this too, that now, I think different human and material resources have been provided by God to probably put in the stead of the people now. We are seeing a kind of government that is ready not to strike the balance between serving their party and their own people they said is claim to love. How on earth would a reasonable government utter such statement that no conflict? It means you want to continue to put people in aspects of poverty and then educate them the more, turn them to indentured servants. I don't think it is warranted, it is necessary now to proclaim such noise or claim. What I need to know now is that
You should wrap up now, please.
if not, the friends should go, and then people should be ready to help one another now. So, by me, I think it is quite ridiculous, meaning that people are not ready to
You should wrap up now, please. Please wrap up now, please.
Okay.
Topical issues 0700 1051 1051 and 0909916443. Topical issues, good morning. Good morning. Your name and where you calling from, please. Ambrose, good morning. Go ahead.
Please, I want to implore you to give us more time to talk. One of the reasons why I call this station is because of Gbola. But beyond that, you don't give us enough time. Then secondly, Nigeria has no direction economically now. That is the reality on ground. That's why they are talking of population. What kind of population? Are we as much as India or China? Our people are there graduating every year. No life. They are not creating any facilities for the economy to move forward. All they keep on telling us is to start giving us excuses here and there. We have government. This is the funniest government that I've ever seen in this country.
We both voted for them. We both voted for them.
I'm going to wrap up now, please.
Thank you for your
Thank you
comment.
very much, Ambrose. We'll go quickly to socials on Twitter this morning. Fire Williams says, waiting anxiously for the INEC list because I am expecting drama. This is Nigeria. Alex Ogundadegbe, how on earth did Benga Ashafa lose out in the senatorial bid for Lagos State? Well, Shinowa, Pepperito appears to have wormed his way into Jagaban's heart. Many surprises are coming from APC primaries. Shehu Sani may have to try another party.
Yes, in another party already.
He
PRP.
can't contest. Can he contest? He
I
has
take what you got.
It's in PRP already.
Adams Oshiomhole is what
contest.
PDP
We will know
needs
today.
to win. Adams Oshiomhole is what PDP needs to win 2019 election. As long as it keeps creating crisis in APC, it favors the PDP, says Adegboyega Adedeji. Jolie Agawa. It is obvious that INEC Nigeria is gradually dancing to the dictates of the ruling party. It should not be surprising. It should not be a surprising thing to Nigerians if a candidate eventually emerged for APC in Zamfara State. How possible would that be? Alabalakbe, as far as likes of Gbola still running away from practical politics, and he has good ideas.
What about Najib? What about Babajide? Can't they go and run?
We are not a group.
We are
bro.
Is Nigeria
I wanted to run and I ran it.
But I'm too old.
You're still running. Is Nigeria you're still running. You're
Babajide,
Why is that with a 7-year-old person?
Benga Adedeji from Ogba says EFCC and Fire Shea is a normal drama that will eventually die, like several other corruption cases in Nigeria. Governor Moson should be a good loser and eat the humble pie. God bless Nigeria. And lastly, this one here says Buhari's performance in power sector 3 years is better than PDP's achievements in 16 years. I dey laugh. How did he get such conclusion? Is it blackout that we've had for 3 hours a day in some places under this government that Fashola calls an achievement? This government and their propaganda is their greatest undoing, says Busayo in Ikorodu. We'll take a couple more. There is nothing this present government is doing that's encouraging. Is it something? Is a spell working against them? Asks Lekon from Ikorodu. Birth control is not really our problem, but one of the main factors. If we manage our resources very well, we don't need birth control, but situations whereby we take our crude oil down outside Nigeria, we empower foreigners and render ourselves useless. While the painful part is that we have 18 elements in crude oil, we'll be given 5 elements and we'll also pay for them. Well done. Is that not crazy in nature? What is it with the remaining 13 elements they hold back during the cost of refining our oil? You don't include your name. Lastly, on WhatsApp this morning, good morning. The ban of kids hawking in Lagos should not limit children, should not limit doing. I don't get this. Leo from K2, I'm not sure what you're trying to communicate here.
Read it as he has written it.
Can I locate it? Yes. The ban of kids hawking in Lagos should not limit during school hours.
Okay, should not be limited to only during school hours. It should be for all time.
Generally, the law is that no child must be sent out to hawk at any time.
That is what we have time for today.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Najib. Thank you, Babajide. Thank you, Gbola, for being part of the show this morning, Lagos. We say thank you for your tweets and your comments and also your calls into topical issues. Let's do this again, same time,
Tomorrow.
station, tomorrow morning. Up next is Sports City with Wilfred Wong and the crew. My name is Benny Ark.
I'm Bellarose Okojie. Do remember to follow on Twitter, at City1051, at GBOLAOBA, at BABAJAADAY, and at NEJEEBBELLO.
I don't like that the way people say GBOLA. I'm not Jaguda Babole. You know, you just say Gbola.
We got the hits. We got the gist. This is Lagos #1 lifestyle station, City 1051 FM.